All right, in this tutorial video, we're going to look at how to create and edit posts on your blog, on your Modern House microsite. So again, here we've got our microsite. We've got kind of this general information there. We've got some upcoming events. We have our link to how to buy a starter kit. Got this kind of blurb about how awesome our community is. But we see that there's no recent blog post section down here. So to change that, we're going to go to Edit Profile. And we're going to go to the blog section here in our backend. And we see that there are no posts found. Create your first post now. So we're going to click on Create Post or click on Now. And so here we have the blog editing section. So we're going to start by giving our blog post a title, Mike's First Blog Post. And then this is where we actually edit the content. So here we can just kind of type away. If this is kind of too restricting of a view for you, you can click this full screen button here that will allow you to expand that out and kind of work this way. And so I'm going to just grab some dummy text really quick and use this instead of writing something here. So let me copy this, paste it. So let's say this is my blog post. Obviously not super exciting unless we add some images peppered in there. So way we can do that is a couple different ways. If I just press return, I get this little space right here. And so now I can go find an image that I want to bring in here. So one resource that you guys need to know about is a website called unsplash.com. So Unsplash is, let me go to the homepage here, Unsplash is a photography website that has no licensing restrictions. And so what that means is that all of this photography, which is like absolute premium, like top-notch photography, is usable by anybody for any reason without having to attribute the photographer. And so it's a very incredible resource. All of these really incredible photographers have donated all of these photos, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of awesome photos that you can use for your blog. And so, let's say we wanted to find an ocean waves photo, and there's just going to be thousands and thousands of super awesome ocean wave photos. And so this one looks awesome. Let's grab this one. So I click on it and then download, in this case, one thing we can do is we can since we just want to paste this image into our blog, we can right click copy image. We come back over to our blog, and right where we want that image to show up, right click again and click paste. And boom, that image is going to show up in our blog right there. And let's say we want to have another image here. We can copy that image from anywhere else, within files on our computer, somewhere else we found online. So let's find somebody doing yoga. This looks very, very zen, very peaceful, very oily. So we copy that image, come back over to our blog editor, right-click, paste the image, and now we have these two images here. Oops, sorry. Right-click, paste. There we go. All right, so I'm going to take it out of full screen now. So now we have our blog post with these images pasted in. We can add, if you want to create tags for your blog post. So let's call this one health. So type health and press enter, yoga and press enter. You'll see if you start typing, it gives you kind of a list of categories that other users have started. So you can select from one of those or create your own categories. Now, your blog post also needs a featured image, which is kind of the main image that's going to show up in the blog feed. So let's say we go to Unsplash here, and we want to get some featured image. So I'm just going to type health, see what comes up. Maybe we want to use this nice young lady here as our featured image. Now, we can't just copy and paste this because it actually has to be uploaded to the database. And so if we click download free, This is going to get downloaded somewhere to our computer. So I'm just going to put it in my downloads. I'm going to call this Mike's first blog image, and I'm going to save it. Now, if I go to my Finder here and I look at this image in downloads, Mike's first blog image, we'll see that this image is 1.8 megabytes. So it's pretty big. I mean, these are very, very high resolution, high quality photographs. So if we come back to our blog edit section and I click on the featured image section and I go find this image in my Finder that's called Mike's first blog image and I try to upload it, you'll see I get this big red X and it says file is too big, 1.7 megabytes, the max file size is 1 megabyte. And so we have to keep these featured images fairly small to make sure that the website performs quickly and doesn't load super slow. So we need to remove this file. And what we need to do is edit that photo so that it's smaller. Now, if any of you have a background in Photoshop, then that's going to be super easy for you. You should know how to bring an image into Photoshop, decrease its size, no big deal. Now, if you don't have Photoshop or don't know Photoshop, that's okay. There's some very, very easy to use online tools. So for example, if we go to resizeimage.net, this is a free resource that you can use to resize your image. So you're going to click upload an image. I'm going to click Mike's first blog image, and we'll see this image is going to be uploaded here in a second. All right. Now, if we come down here, we're going to see under number 4, resize image. We see that this image is 5,184 pixels wide by 3,456 pixels tall. Now, that probably doesn't mean a lot to you guys, but that's very, 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 very big. To put in perspective, the width of your computer is probably somewhere between 1,400 and 1,600 pixels. So we really don't need this to be near this big. So I would suggest bumping this down to 1920 pixels wide and make sure that you have keep aspect ratio checked so that it doesn't squish or stretch the image in any way. And so then if we go down to optimize your image, I would suggest taking image, you're going to click on normal compression, and I would suggest taking the image quality down to about 60%. That's going to make your file much smaller while not losing any quality. And then you're going to click this resize image button. And then you see that now this here's our old image that was 1.7 megabytes, and now we see that our new image is 88 kilobytes. So it's 0.885 megabytes, so obviously under 1 megabyte, so we're good to go. So click download image, and then again save that to your Explorer, your Finder, whether you're on a PC or a Mac. So I'm going to call this Mike's first blog image -small. And so now we're going to go back to our Modern House blog edit section, and now I can click drop the image here. And I can select my Mike's first blog image small, and we see that that was a successful upload. So now we click submit, and our post was created successfully. So now if I click view posts, we will see this blog post called Mike's first blog post. We see that it was created on March 19th, that it is currently published. I can edit it by clicking edit, so now this blog post is going to be live on our site. So if I come back up here to the gear icon and I click view website, that will take me to my home page, and now I will see that there has been created a recent blog post section that has that one blog post. Now as you add an additional blog post, this one will slide to the left and will fill out here. So one quick note, even if you don't plan on maintaining a blog with hundreds and hundreds of posts, we still strongly recommend that you create at least 2 posts to fill out this section. And you could just call them like my favorite oils and my oil testimony or my oil journey or anything like that. Just a few basic blog posts to fill this out so that your page actually has some content. And that's important for a few reasons. It's important for SEO reasons, which means search engine optimization. The more content, the more unique content you have on your microsite, the more opportunity there is for people to kind of randomly find your site by via Google or things like that. So make sure you add at least a couple of posts, even if you don't intend on really keeping like a big blog going. So now if I'm on this microsite, I can click read more. That's going to take me specifically to that post. So if I click read more, you'll see that I am instantly taken to that blog post. And so you'll see this was that featured image that I selected. Now, one important thing to note is that there's always going to be white text on top of this image. And so you want to make sure you choose an image that's a little bit dark, that is not going to be too hard for this text to be readable. And then we can see our actual blog post here. And so here's my text with these images that I put in there, and the categories down here, health and yoga. And so here's my blog post, which looks great, and is my very first one. So now if I click on blog here, it's actually going to take me to the blog listing page. And so this is going to be where I can scroll through and see all of my blog posts. Now, obviously, I only have one blog post, but as I continue to create blog posts, they will populate down here. And then, your users and readers can click on different categories to filter blog posts. If you have a category that's called, kids, and they want to read all of your blog posts about your kids, then they can click that, and it will just have blog posts that you have tagged as a kids post. And so that is how you can create and edit blog posts. And so have fun, get to it, and get to writing.